another thing Diana Rossini said. The Niners still intend to give Brock Purdy a multi-year extension. I love when these things come out like they're 6-8. They just embarrass themselves on national television in a must-have-it game, and the organization gets like tapped on the shoulder by an insider, and they're like, "Oh yeah, everything's great over here. Nothing to see here. Business as usual." Like maybe this is what fans want to hear at 6-8. But yeah, Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, everything's great. They got the foundation of their team. What do you think of the 49ers fully? Well, they didn't say how much they're going to offer him, though. I mean, they could be saying, yeah, everything's great. We're gonna give him a multi-year extension. It's going to be very lucrative. It could be 30, though. It could be 60, though. How do you take this?
If it's 60 mil, we're screwed. We are screwed. If it's 60 million, we're screwed. I even think if it's like, it's hard to say right now. Well, it's actually easy to say. Purdy does not look the same this year. Why? I think people were kind of right. And I'm a Purdy guy. I love Purdy. I got an Iowa State jersey of Purdy. Like, I love Purdy. It's maybe he does need.
He's an all-time great story in sports.
Maybe he
there needs to be a movie about Brock Purdy. Like, not to be, patronizing, but he's an all-time great story.
He is 100%. I'm just saying, I think people were maybe a little bit right with the Brock Purdy needs the Avengers story. I think they were kind of right because this year he doesn't. Well, I think any quarterback that doesn't have his weapons, they're not going to be the same, except maybe like Mahomes, Josh Allen. Those guys are, those guys are tiers above Purdy. I just think for Purdy, I agree with you. I think we play him out next year and see how he does. And if he does bad, you let him go. But the one thing I don't agree that what you say is like to let him go and get Sam Darnold. You say that, and I'm like, really, Darnold? You would pick Darnold over Purdy? Right? Listen, Darnold's having a good year, but
he's on a better team, though. He is on a better team.
He's on a better team.
He's on a much better team.
Better.
That
team.
is true.
That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't be super excited about paying Sam Darnold either.
No.
Here's what I think they're gonna do. Correct me if you think I'm wrong here. I feel like knowing the Niners the way we do, how they negotiate, they'll give him an offer, probably at the beginning of the offseason, and it'll be a low ball offer. It'll be low.
I agree.
It will not be $60 million a year. It'll be, I don't know, 35, 40. Some low, some borderline offensive to him. Although to me, I wouldn't even do that. And he'll have to be in a situation where it's like, well, I could drag this out all offseason the way Ayuk did, the way Kittle did, the way Bosa did, because we know the Niners will cave.
Yeah.
And if you hold out and you go take this into September, the Niners will give you $60 million most likely. He'll have to decide if he wants to do that. And if he sits out, man, I would trade him. I would trade
100%.
him. I would trade him because the Niners eventually have to stop this pattern of like just letting players, just rolling over to players every demand because they've done it like 4 years in a row.
Letting them do whatever they want. I agree.
Everything.
So you think Purdy's not worth 25, 30 mil?
It's hard to say what he is worth though, right? Because like the first 24 games of his career, he was great. Like he won like 75% of his games, but he was playing with McCaffrey. His numbers were great. In the last 18 games of his career, he's been
9-9.
Like 9-9 with a 91 quarterback rating. It's like, who's the real? The fact that he can't play in wet weather, it's like there's a lot of red flags here, man. I mean, yeah, he's small and his arm isn't strong and he's gotten injured. Like, I'd like to see another year before just locking yourself in and be like, we're good at this position. Like, you don't know that.
I think
you really don't.
I think that's the main two things for me that you say is like the weather plays a big factor because you don't know when it's going to rain. You don't know when it's going to snow. And if it like when I saw the Rams game was going to rain, I was like, oh, it's great.
Like, that's really great. That's tough.
And
all of a sudden 6 points.
And that shouldn't be a factor. It should be, oh, it's raining. Okay, whatever. We're going to still go out there and win the game. But having that for your quarterback is not good. That's not.
You don't play in a dome. You do play in Northern California, and it just so happened that the must-have game of the season was outdoors in your place under the rain. Like,
imagine if isn't the Super Bowl held in Levi's next year?
Yes.
Imagine if last year's Super Bowl against the Chiefs was held in Levi's and it was raining. Oh my God, we would have got smacked.
Yeah,
we would have literally got smacked. How did these guys make it to the Super Bowl?
See, to me, a quarterback like him, a guy you've had success with but has clear limitations, man, that's a bridge quarterback. To me, So I'm sorry. Like, you like him, you want him, he's your starter, but you're also kind of looking around in the draft. And if there's a guy you like in round 3, round 2, even round 1, you take him. And I think
I have
that's where the Niners are at. Like, you could give him a deal, I guess. The Falcons gave Kirk Cousins a 4-year deal last offseason and then drafted a quarterback in the top 10. And people were like, that was the dumbest thing ever. Yeah, maybe the Kirk Cousins thing was the dumbest thing ever. I don't know.
So,
I think the Niners are there.
So if you if you think Purdy's not that guy, then what do we do? Because you said Sam Darnold. I don't agree with that. I think that would
You want to keep Purdy. You want to keep Purdy. But if he wants to hold out, if he wants to make this a whole drama, then I would take a hard line and trade him. But the first choice, keep Purdy, give him nothing, and draft a quarterback. And if Purdy balls out, then yeah, you franchise tag him and then you give him an extension.
Do you know what quarterback though? What quarterback will we draft?
Okay, I don't know about that. You know, I don't be watching college football like that. Everyone says Drew Aller, but I don't know about him from Penn State. I've been watching. He hasn't played that much. He's only got like 700 throws. He seems like he probably need a little bit of development, and that's not exactly what Kyle Shanahan does. So I don't know. But I feel like you gotta try, man. You gotta draft someone. There's whoever drafted Brock Purdy, like, who do you like? But not in round 7. Or whenever draft, you got to draft a quarterback at some point. Steve Slowick, who you like?
Who do I like?
No, well, yeah. Who do you like? You're not Steve Slowick, but
no, I'm not. I thought, who do I like? I haven't even thought about that. I've not thought about that. I love Purdy. I want Purdy to be our guy. I just don't. I don't know about signing him to 6.
But it's like if they want to find someone, they could find someone great with like a lot of talent, but they struck out with that Trey Lance. They could try to find the next Purdy, and that's like you're not looking for physical traits. It's just a guy who's played a lot of college football.
I don't think you're finding a Purdy again though. That's that was so lucky.
But was Purdy or was Purdy a McCaffrey product? You know what I'm saying?
Talking bad about Purdy, man. I'm
so sorry. Purdy. I love Brock, but like, dude, these are questions you got to ask because McCaffrey's not going to be here for his second contract. I mean, this is. No. But maybe they'll get the next McCaffrey. Maybe they'll draft a running back in round 1 this year, and they'll be
Genty's the new McCaffrey.
Maybe they'll get him. They might have to, man.
Shanahan would overuse him, and then he'd be cooked. So I don't even know if I want that. I don't know. I don't like talking about this Purdy contract because I hope he just does. I hope Shanahan talks to Purdy and says, you know what, Purdy? If you take a big contract, we're going to be literally the Cowboys 2.0. That's what Shanahan should just say that. We're going to be Cowboys 2.0, buddy. And then
I think Purdy's a lot of people feel that Brock's this like aw shucks type dude, and the Niners are going to give him their typical low ball early offseason offer, and he'll take it and say thank you. I don't know about that. Because you got David Lombardi over here on Twitter daily making the case for Brock.
Better than
Brock's
Josh
worth like $55 million a year. And when the organization offers him 35 and Brock's going to be like, wait, but David Lombardi said I'm worth 55. Hell no. Have you noticed that David Lombardi's picking sides? And this whole, he is very much Team Brock, and he's starting to take little not shots, but like he's starting to criticize Kyle, which I find very interesting.
No, I think David Lombardi's right. I think Brock's better than Josh Allen. I think maybe he's better than Patrick Mahomes. Maybe Brock's better than Patrick Mahomes.
He might be the greatest. He might be better than Joe Montana.
He might be better than Tom Brady.
He might be better than Ronaldo and Messi at soccer.
They're not even
at that football.
He doesn't even play those sports, and he's still better than them.
I just feel like Lombardi's always trying to align himself with whoever's going to be here the longest. And if he's all of a sudden on Team Brock, he thinks that Brock's could potentially. I don't know about that, but anyway, I just don't feel like Kyle's super excited to give Brock all that money.
No, and
tie himself down to. I mean, again, the offense just scored 6 points against a defense that's ranked like 25th. Terrible. And why? Whose fault was it? Was it Kyle? I mean, Kyle. Do you think Kyle thinks it was his fault? I think Kyle thinks I got you. George Kittle open deep.
Yeah,
I got you. Ricky Pearsall open deep. And you threw into double coverage for no reason to
Jawan Jennings.
Yeah, I didn't tell you to do that. So
that was really stupid play. Very stupid.
So you I just can't see Kyle being super excited to tie himself down to Brock for 4 years.
I think we would be stupid. Like we see with the Cowboys, they have all their money with Dak. Now they can't do anything. They can't do anything now.
Their team is Dak and
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons.
They're literally a 3-man team.
There's
and
like,
Diggs.
yeah, I mean, they just spend so much money on a few player.
I think Diggs is he's been iffy this year.
Yeah, and they spend a lot on him. I don't know.
Exactly. I think that's one thing. If Shanahan or Lynch could say that, I think that's what I would say is if you sign a big deal, we're literally going to be the Cowboys. We're going to be the Cowboys.
Yeah, and it's like the Niners are in this place where they've spent so much money on players that like if someone who's not getting a lot of money that's important, like Greenlaw goes down, there's no depth. All of a sudden, we talk about, oh, well, they had bad injuries this year. Well, they're in this position where the team is like 8 guys making a lot of money. So if at any point 3 or 4 of those guys are hurt, you're screwed. Because the way you built your team is for those 8 guys, at least 6 or 7 of them, to be healthy every week. That's your freaking team. That's your clique. And the Niners haven't been able to put that together, and they're getting older.
But do you think, like, this is another question for you. Do you think the Niners should, like, really invest in an O-line, and maybe that would make Purdy better? Because I saw one clip of Aaron Banks get absolutely wrecked, and Purdy had to throw it to Pearsall really quickly, which was a beautiful throw, but our O-line is really bad. It's really bad. We have literally one bright spot on our O-line, and that's Pooney, and then Trent, but he's aging. He hasn't played. He's injured this season. Like, I think.
You know what else would help, Brock? I agree. O-line would help him tremendously. You know what else would help him? A dome.
Yes. You know what? I think they should invest into that.
They should. Hey, but you want to make Brock Purdy your franchise quarterback? Put a dome on Levi's.
Exactly. Because then he has no excuses.
There's no salary cap on domes.
Wait, but
you can afford it.
Wait, Grant, I think in the Cardinals game this year, I don't know I don't know, but didn't like the ball slip out of his hand and it was like still sunny out and like no rain?
That happened in Minnesota. It was actually which has a dome.
No, but I think it happened against Arizona too. I think it happened against Arizona too. I think I remember that.
It'd be interesting to get like the numbers of Brock Purdy in bad weather games. He's probably only played 4 of them.
You know what I was thinking last night? Is there like a hand size surgery? Imagine if Brock Purdy just got like a hand surgery to make his hands bigger.
That feels like something he should definitely look into. But again, I don't know if he can afford it. Maybe Toyota could sponsor it.